Hey everyone, welcome back to Switchcraft, and it's a great day to be a gamer. Today, I want to have a discussion with you, looking at whether or not Spyro and Crash should be cut from the PlayStation Classic Mini. Let's talk about it. First up, a disclaimer. I won't even pretend to know as much about Sony systems and games as I do my Nintendo stuff. That being said, the NES and SNES Classic Minis got me back into retro gaming full force, and really provided the opportunity to relive the classics and play through others for the first time. This will be even more the case on December 3rd when the PlayStation 1 Mini Classic drops and I can finally play through Final Fantasy VII uninterrupted. My tissues are ready. But what about two of the arguably biggest IPs that helped put Sony on the map? Spyro the Dragon and Crash Bandicoot. At first glance, they seem like no-brainers. They have amazing recognition by fans and could easily be the main characters on the rear box art. They were great and wildly popular games for their time, and two of the biggest reasons to pick up a PlayStation back in the 1990s. Think of the opportunity it'll be to expose a whole new generation of gamers this December to everyone's favorite purple dragon and slightly deranged Bandicoot. That's kind of where the fairy tale ends though. The most glaring reason why these games might not make the cut is that we already have way better ways to play them. Like way better. Crash Bandicoot 1 to 3 has already been remastered, and you can already get him on any one of your favorite consoles. Even the latest Nintendo one. What's it called again? Anyone growing up in the 1990s would have never ever believed that if you told them. And Spyro isn't far behind. We know about the remaster of those games, and we know it'll be coming to the Switch eventually. With these options out there, what reason would anyone have to grab this console to play those games again in their mess of pixels and polygons? Because I'm not the only one that feels as though PlayStation 1 games didn't age particularly well. Well, at least most of them didn't. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's my Nintendo bias looking back through rose-colored glasses, but N64 games held up so much better 20 to 25 years later. Am I crazy? Let me know down in the comments if you agree. And let's try to put a finger on why that's the case. I'm not saying that the other titles already announced are any better, but because we already have or are getting remasters of these two games, the difference is even more obvious. That's not all. A much more practical reason why Spyro and Crash might not make the cut is due to licensing. Spyro has changed hands a lot over the years, and it's now owned by Activision. You can find Spyro in Skylanders, and Activision has already announced a remaster of the trilogy due out in November for the PS4 and Xbox. That means Activision gets a cut of every PlayStation Classic made. You know what else Activision owns? That's right, Crash Bandicoot. Everything I just said about Spyro applies to him as well. That's another cut of the pie to Activision for every PlayStation Classic Mini made. We know Sony is already cutting as many corners as possible to try to get this console made without it costing them money. They aren't even including an AC power adapter with the thing. With how big the average PlayStation 1 game was, in terms of file size, it's safe to assume the most expensive part of the PS1 Classic will be all the onboard memory. I highly doubt they'll have any spare change to start paying out Activision for every unit they make. If that wasn't enough, this cash situation was undoubtedly a big reason why we're getting the original D-pad only controllers. Sure, you can make the argument that the original PlayStation was boxed with them, but I mean, come on. DualShock made everything so much better, especially when it comes to 3D platformers. That's actually one of the reasons why the original Crash feels so clunky when you played with one of the original controllers and using a D-pad versus modern systems, and why Spyro was designed from the ground up to use the new, updated, and improved controller. It just doesn't add up, figuratively and literally. I feel weird saying this, but it would be better for these games and for the image of the PS1 Classic Mini if they weren't included. I hope I'm not offending too many diehards out there, but that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it unless someone can convince me otherwise down below. Plus, with such a massive game library, and then the pain of trying to pick which of these iconic games make it off the table, we got 2 to 6 more slots available for the other 15 games we're gonna get. And when this thing drops on December 5th, we're gonna go crazy. But am I crazy? Do you hate me now? Or does this Nintendo fanboy sound like he knows what he's talking about? Let me know down in the comments, as I'll be reading and responding to as many of them as I can. Thank you for watching, and consider sharing this video with a Sony fan, as I want to hear their thoughts as well. It's a great day to be a gamer. Switchcraft out.